Can you even imagine how you would feel if you became paralyzed and thought your career was over? But then a new innovation made it possible for you to re-enter the workforce. That is exactly what happened to this woman, Becca Anordi. And this week she told her story to Bloomberg. Now you're probably assuming that the innovation that helped Becca re-enter the workforce after losing the use of both legs was some kind of gadget that helped her become more mobile. But it was something much, much more simple: remote work. And this week we saw the publication of the first data I've ever seen about how much of a game changer remote work really is for people like Becca. In the US, employment among disabled adults is up over 5 percentage points since remote work became the norm. Just look at that spike. It's easy for the able-bodied to forget that the benefits of remote work go far beyond the ones that we experience ourselves every day. For the disabled community, the ability to do a full-time job without navigating inaccessible transportation or buildings opens up a whole new world. And honestly, I'd also speculate that the stigma of physical disability must reduce massively when people's impression of you doesn't start with walking into a room. Now, that's exactly the kind of small but interesting news story that we love here at Out of Office, the weekly web series that catches you up on all the latest remote work news in just a few minutes. I'm your host, Andrew Allen, and our second story this week is about this gadget. No, it's not another Alexa, and it's also not just the standing bit, it's the thing on the desk and the TV behind it and the thing below that. This contraption has been invented by Logitech to solve one of the major problems that companies with hybrid workforces face: how to handle Zoom calls when half the team is in a room together and the other half are tuning in via Zoom windows. How many calls have you been on with a tiny conference room thumbnail that mostly just shows the backs of people's heads while they talk to each other? Well, this set of devices basically gets a 360 view and parses that out into Zoom windows so that everyone at home sees the people in the room like any other Zoom participant. Now, as a tech geek, part of me thinks this is really cool. And if I worked for a hybrid company, I'd be stoked if they got one of these. But I have to set that aside and recognize that actually this illustrates why I am so glad I don't work for one of those companies. Doesn't it just feel a bit over the top? I mean, companies just are scraping the bottom of the barrel to try and salvage a dying model. It sort of reminds me of those mini disc players. Do you remember those? Right as digital music started to become possible, some bright spark decided that what the world really needed was smaller CDs. And of course, these were forgotten by history as soon as the world realized that no disc technology could ever be good enough to beat Apple's promise of fitting 10,000 songs in your pocket. The point here is, companies that don't innovate die. And there's no surer sign something's on the way out than when companies try and sell a gadget that's way more complicated than it needs to be to solve a problem that's already been eliminated by something superior. But you already know the future of work is Out of Office, and that's why you're here. I'm Andrew Allen, and I'll see you next week.